During CPAC, an annual conservative convention of crazy people, Donald Trump gave a 2-hour-long speech where he rambled, went off script, and made fun of a number of people in his own party. Now, before he started his speech, he felt the need to hug the American flag. And so let's have a little bit of fun. Here it is.
Okay, now let me give you the famous quote that you see on a lot of bumper stickers. It's actually not Sinclair Lewis's, but it's now become a famous American saying. When fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. Now, there he is, literally wrapped in the flag, and 81% of white evangelicals voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, and he's at the American, at this conservative conference that's put together by the American Conservative Union. So
wrapped in the flag, carrying a cross, there he is.
So, and by the way, look, I say this conference is, just a group of crazy people getting together. I don't think it always used to be that way. I might disagree with the political views of conservatives, but back in the day, there was at least some substantive conversation taking place. Whereas every year, it's devolving more and more, especially in the Trump era, where, you have Michelle Malkin, talking about the ghost of John McCain and in a very negative way. It's just really bad people saying horrible things.
Yeah, nothing's ever enough. And so, look, if they were in a party that was centrist to begin with, that might be one thing. But they're already in a radical party that is far right, and I don't mean that just based on my opinion. I mean based on the polling that on any given issue, all of their proposals, tax cuts for the rich, getting rid of Obamacare, they hover between 15% to max 40%. They're deeply unpopular. Trump is deeply unpopular, almost never breaking 50%. Sometimes he brags about being at 45% when he peaks. It's not a thing to brag about. That means you're really unpopular. But he spends a lot of time in the 30s, okay? So meanwhile, progressive positions are wildly popular, et cetera. But they go there and at CPAC, they rave about and rant about how Republicans are not right-wing enough. And they spit on the ghost of John McCain because he didn't do enough. And that worked so well for Michelle Malkin. She got a standing ovation.
Yes. Yeah.
So Jeanine Pirro came out and said, oh yeah, I hate McCain too, right? And it wasn't even about the healthcare vote. It's just
shameful. A lot of the stuff that went down, it's not about political policy. It was about the way that they defame people, including individuals in their own party who aren't extreme enough, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, without further ado, I wanna give you some portions of Trump's speech which stood out to us, and that included his statements on Jeff Sessions.
Robert Mueller never received a vote, and neither did the person that appointed him. And as you know, the Attorney General says, I'm gonna recuse myself. And I said, why the hell didn't he tell me that before I put him in?
Okay, let's break that one down. First of all, I was led to believe by conservatives that doing a Southern accent is deeply offensive and is just as racist as being against black people. Where's the outrage? He just did a Southern accent, that was clear as day. Right? But when Trump does it, now come on, that's so much fun. Southerners are stupid, aren't they? And Trump's just making fun of that, that's great. Oh, okay, at least we're clear now.
Yeah, there's a very strange get out of jail free card for Trump when it comes to everything, right? So he can make fun of the military, he can make fun of generals, he can disrespect the troops. And that was something that we were led to believe was a no-go. You're not even allowed to criticize military efforts abroad without being accused of not supporting the troops, right?
Sorry.
But with Trump, I mean, it's okay. He can make fun of the Southern accents, he can make fun of the military, he can make fun of the generals. He can do all of the things that conservatives pretended like they really cared about in the past. And they will not make him pay any consequences for it today.
I mean, they're so blind, they can't even see what Trump said there at the end. He said, if he had told me that he was going to recuse himself and then anybody was going to investigate me, I wouldn't have hired him. That's an admission that you would like to obstruct justice. You don't want you wanted the Attorney General that's supposed to serve the American people, not the president, not his personal political fortune, right? but the American people. He's like, I didn't want him to serve the American people. I wanted him to serve me personally. And everybody's like, yeah, that's right. We don't want him serving us. We don't want to serve justice. We want him serving Trump so he protects him from all the illegal things that he did. That's such a good point by Trump. God, it's a room full of lunatics.
So that was one part of his speech. And again, it was a 2-hour-long speech. In that speech, he also talked about the Mueller investigation further. Of course, he obsesses about it. And I just want you to pay close attention to some of the words that he uses in this next rant.
Now we have people that lost. And unfortunately, you put the wrong people in a couple of positions, and they leave people for a long time that shouldn't be there. And all of a sudden, they're trying to take you out with okay?
Okay, so he's in front of a crowd. He's not in a closed door meeting with some White House officials, and he curses. And this isn't the first time he's done it. He's done it a bunch of times. I don't care that he curses. That's really not something that concerns me. But I do care when conservatives make a big deal about videos like this one.
And when your son looks at you and says, Mama, look, you won, bullies don't win. And I said, baby, they don't. Because we're gonna go in there, we're gonna impeach the
So that was Representative Rashida Tlaib, in case you missed that story, that of course conservatives made a huge deal about because she said mother effer, referring to Trump. And what did Trump say about Rashida Tlaib's comments?
About the freshman congressperson's comments specifically about...
Well, I thought her comments were disgraceful. This is a person that I don't know. I assume she's new. I think she dishonored herself, and I think she dishonored her family. Using language like that in front of her son and whoever else was there, I thought that was a great dishonor to her and to her family. I thought it was highly disrespectful to the United States of America.
Dishonored herself and dishonored her family. So do you dishonor yourself and your family and the country when you're cursing up on stage? I would argue that it's dishonorable when you cheat on your wife while she's pregnant and then pay that woman hush money payments prior to the election. That's also dishonorable to everyone, including the American people and your family. But like, that's the thing. He'll stand up there and he'll curse. He'll do the exact same things that conservatives will criticize, liberals for. And then he never pays the price for any of it. They'll stand, they'll give him a standing ovation. They don't care. They don't care. They have no morals. More importantly, no principles, no values. They pretend like they do, but they really don't.
Yeah, so let me double down on the lack of principles and intelligence on the part of conservatives, the voters, not just Trump. Okay, so they wildly applaud that. It was just a month ago when they were saying Rashida Tlaib cursing is unbearable. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Trump does it. They're like, he's so cool the way he just curses like a real person. I mean, do you guys hear yourselves? We're totally consistent on it. I don't care when Trump does it. I don't care when Tlaib does it. Don't care at all. You guys are the world's biggest hypocrites. I mean, do you have a mind? Do you listen to yourself? Do you have any principles that you apply evenly ever? But I guess we're trying to talk to them as if they speak the language of logic, and they don't. All they care about is, am I winning, or is my side winning, or are we not winning? I don't care what facts are. I don't care what logic is. When Trump curses, it is by definition awesome. When Rashida Tlaib curses, it is by definition horrific and a crime against humanity. Okay, all right. I mean, what am I gonna do with people like that? So now, we're not done with the crazy. So Trump said 3 different things that I thought were hilariously wrong. Now, he spoke for 2 hours. He said dozens of things that were wrong. I'm just picking the funniest. Okay, so on the issue of Mueller, he's like, sir, they have 13 angry Democrats that are running that probe. But it's of course not true. Okay, but let's get to the funny part. And he's like, and one of them worked at the Clinton Foundation. In fact, ran the Clinton Foundation. Of course, that's not true. Okay, you think we wouldn't know if someone on the Mueller team ran the Clinton Foundation?
No, he just makes it up.
No, he does.
Standing ovation.
Yeah. So it's the person he's referring to, presumably, maybe it's no one because he just makes things up, but presumably it's Jeanine Rhee. She was outside counsel, never worked for the Clinton Foundation as an employee. Outside counsel on one small case. She ran the Clinton Foundation.
She ran
it. Okay.
You know, sometimes when you win and then you have a bunch of people, involved in this probe, like. He's crazy, right? Like, look, I get it. If you're a Republican, you want a Republican in office, but don't you want someone who's not deranged? Don't you want someone who doesn't make things up? Don't you want someone who's gonna tell you the truth? Don't you want someone who's not facing multiple investigations? Forget the Russia investigation, multiple investigations for potentially breaking campaign finance laws, for using his own charitable foundation to enrich himself. There are so many investigations that he's facing right now, and these people are giving him a standing ovation as if he's doing anything positive for them. He's not doing anything for you. Have you filed your taxes yet? File your taxes. Okay. Can't wait.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy said, "Oh, you can name one thing that Trump is being investigated on." What are you? What? Okay, so you can find anything he did wrong. Okay. Anyway, so and that's the leader of the Republicans in the House. So. And to Anna's point real quick, so we criticize Obama all the time on substantive policy issues that we disagree with him, we held him to account. But if Obama had come out and said, anyone investigating me, like a prosecutor investigating me, should immediately, basically be fired by the Attorney General, and if the Attorney General doesn't work for me and protect me politically, I wouldn't have hired him in the first place. We'd have been like, what, right? We would have said that's outrageous. In fact, when Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder said that the bankers were too big to jail, we went ballistic. That's insane. See, because we actually have principles, unlike the right wing who have no principles. All right, I'm not done yet. Two last funny parts. He's like, the female senator from Ohio said terrible things, outrageous things. There are no female senators from Ohio.
Oh my God.
Okay. We just move on. We move on. Okay.
I missed that. I missed that part of his speech.
The way she's against men is outrageous. It's just there are no female senators from Ohio. I don't know who he's referring to. Okay. So anyway, then last one. And I see, I talked to the generals, including Mad Dog Mattis. I gave him that nickname. I saw that, I was like, did he? Because I was like, I don't remember him giving. I'm pretty sure that Mad Dog Mattis had that nickname for a long time. So I looked it up online. Jim Mattis, who was, of course, former cabinet official in the Trump administration, during his confirmation hearings, explained his nickname and said, actually, my friends don't call me that. That's a nickname given to me by the press a long time ago, based on things that he had said about killing the enemy with enthusiasm. Okay.
Jeez.
It has nothing to do with Trump. Nothing at all. He was called that a long, long time. He can't help himself. He's literally a pathological liar. I mean, there's no reason to make, and then he went on to criticize Mattis. So there's no reason to take credit for a nickname he didn't come up with. There's no benefit in it.
Well, I mean, I think that in his mind, and maybe in the minds of others, it does benefit him in some way, because he likes to paint himself as a very stable genius, but more importantly, as like a marketing genius, right? Someone who has clever nicknames for people, someone who can really either launch or destroy someone's career based on the nickname that he gives them. So I don't know, maybe in his mind he does think that it's gonna benefit him, but either way, what does a female senator from Ohio think about this? Because I wanna know I wanna know her thoughts. I can't believe that, I can't believe that. How is that not the, that needs to be everywhere. Like that should be a headline everywhere. How did I miss that?
No, it's not, it's barely even mentioned because he's such a lunatic that we've gotten used to all the insane things he says nonstop. If Obama had said that, they'd still be talking about it. Okay, and he once, I swear to you, go look this up. He once claimed he invented the word fake. He's like, a villain out of an Austin Powers movie. Okay, he once claimed to invent the question mark. Okay, I mean, this guy, he's a laughingstock, a buffoon. And a room full of lunatics are like, yes, we're finally leading the asylum, right? They must be thrilled not to have any adult supervision.
So even with all of this madness, right? And it's not just what he said at CPAC, his actions throughout, his presidency so far. His base still supports him no matter what. The Republican Party overall has an insanely high approval rating for him. So what does that say about the country? Because we can sit here and we can say anything we want about Trump, but Trump is a reflection of a far greater problem in the country.
And so this is what drives me crazy about the mainstream media, because of ratings and neutrality, et cetera, they refuse to criticize the ultimate source of the problem, which is the Republican voters. And they keep making excuses. Well, they would have voted for Marco Rubio. I mean, they didn't, but they would have. They would have voted for John Kasich. They didn't, but they could have and they would have. No, they had 17 choices. They clearly voted for Trump. They clearly support him in overwhelming numbers after seeing this freak show for over 2 years now, filled with crazy talk, nonstop lying, horrible treatment of other human beings.
Giant tax cuts for the wealthy, filling the swamp with the biggest swamp monsters imaginable. Just basically turning his back on the voters when it comes to the Trump wall, right? Like if that was his #1 priority, why didn't he get it done when it was much easier for him to get it done? The first thing he wanted to do was tax cuts for the wealthy. So it's not just about his rhetoric, right? It's about the actions that he's taken to actually hurt his base and his voters, but they still support him. So I don't know what to say at this point.
Because they're impervious to facts and logic, but the mainstream media constantly protects them, coddles them, babies them, but sad. I mean, you can't criticize Republican voters. I mean, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. That's how you lose elections. No. You lose elections by calling things even between sane people and insane people.
Absolutely.
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.